Dada is a style of art from the 1920s and was born out of the chaos of World War I. Because the world didn't make sense, the artists decided they were going to make art that didn't make any sense. Often the artists of the Dada movement would create art that was almost anti-art or insulted the art world, as Marcel Duchamp did here in this piece called LHOOQ. He took a poster or postcard of the Mona Lisa and drew a goatee on it. That's it. That's all of his art. And he was making a statement about the art world at the time. It was kind of insulting, and people said, that's not really art. But Marcel said it was. And today we kind of recognize that as being true. His work is in museums all over the world. We have another example here by Raoul Haussmann, and it's called the Art Critic. It's a collage or a collection of paper pieces and parts from magazines collected together and pasted down to make this image. His statement about the art critics of the time and maybe how he felt about them. Doesn't look like he had very much respect for them at all. The artists of the Dada period were critical of the art media and what people considered art and what they believed was not art. Their art was more about what was going on in your head. The thought process was more important than the product. Sometimes there was no art at all. It would be like a performance, as we see Hugo Ball here in this outlandish kind of costume. And then we have some Dada poetry off to the side here that was from that performance. It literally doesn't make sense. Sometimes they would arbitrarily pick words out of a bag, put them together, and then that was the poetry. It was random and haphazard and fun. And that's what they wanted to do, was have some fun. This is another piece called The Fountain by Marcel Duchamp, and he painted a fake name on it. He was asked to bring a piece of artwork to an exhibition where they promised that every work would be shown. So he walked to the museum, he brought a urinal with him that he got from a hardware store, and he put it on a pedestal. Everybody was dumbfounded. They thought, how can a urinal be a piece of art? They had arguments over it and finally took the work out. And that actually made Duchamp kind of happy, because if they had no reaction to it at all, it would just be a toilet. But because they had arguments over it and they had an emotional reaction to it, they made it a work of art. Even today, people are playing around with the ideas of Dadaism, and here, a student from a high school or college put some glasses on the floor and thought, what will happen if people look at this and see it as a piece of modern art? And people did. They came along and took photographs of his pair of glasses on the floor. It was very funny. Even the museum joked about it, asking if a new Duchamp had shown up in the museum. So Dada art is poking fun at art, but it's also making us think a little bit different about what we consider art and why is it art.